Yeah, this one went right over where I was. I'm glad I moved. Hi, I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I did recording. 2025 was a great year for lightning. In my region, we received over 32,000 lightning strikes, 482 of which I got on camera. While lightning is very dangerous, if you're like me, you love watching lightning. You might even consider yourself a storm chaser. I won't discourage anybody from chasing lightning, but we do need to keep in mind that lightning is very dangerous, can cause serious injury, or worse. In my area, we have a unique risk associated with lightning, which is lightning-caused wildfires. However, most fires are caused by humans. So here are some fun facts and ways for you to reduce risk of being struck by lightning. When lightning strikes, it heats the air to approximately 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which I've heard is hotter than the surface of the sun. Thunder can travel up to 25 miles away from where a lightning strike occurred. Lightning can strike an object from up to 10 miles outside of the storm, which is about 45 seconds if you're counting how much time lapsed between when you saw the strike and heard the thunder. Speaking of that, thunder travels about a fifth of a mile per second, which is the speed of sound. So if you see a lightning strike and you want to know how far away it is, count how many seconds lapsed between when you saw the strike and heard the thunder, divide it by 5, and you've got yourself how many miles away that lightning strike was. When lightning strikes, thunder is emitted along each point of that bolt, which is why sometimes when you see a lightning strike, you may hear several rumbles of thunder. I put a timestamp in the description below showing you some examples that I recorded of that phenomenon this summer. When lightning is going towards an object, within about 100 yards of that object starts emitting charges that make an arc with that lightning and cause the bolt to hit that object. Risk reduction. Avoid being the tallest object around, so no barren mountaintops or open fields. Avoid tall, isolated objects such as pine trees or radio towers, as they essentially act like lightning rods. Avoid water. As most of you already know, water is very conductive and you don't want to be stuck inside the water when lightning strikes. Sheds and covered porches are not safe despite that it feels this way. I'm guilty of it myself. The internet has shown us many examples of close calls with people recording lightning in their door frame or under a covered porch. In case of wildfire, avoid patches of dry, dead, or down fuels, such as snag patches, brush fields, or dry grass fields. Only one strike this summer was close enough to affect my body. It struck about 100 yards away, and immediately my body erupted in goosebumps, and every hair was standing on end. And at the time, I thought it was excitement, adrenaline, anxiety. But looking back in hindsight, I'm pretty sure it was static electricity. It lasted for around 3 minutes, and after that, I knew it was time to get out of there. So I hightailed it over to the library, which in some of my other videos you can see a gymnasium. That's the library. But there's one problem. I'm under a covered porch, and as we discussed earlier, that's not safe. But at the time, I really did feel safe, even though strikes were going off all around me. Anyway. Here's several ways you could be struck by lightning. Side flash. So let's say you're outside watching a lightning storm, but you're standing too close to a pine tree. That pine tree gets struck by lightning, and as the bolt moves through the stem of the tree, it hops right on over to you because your body is essentially acting like a short circuit, and that's side flash. The next one is ground current. Very similar situation. You're standing too close to a pine tree and it gets struck by lightning. Except this time, the energy moves through the entire tree, into the soil, and then into and through you. And that's ground current. The next one is conduction. It's a little bit more complicated. So let's say you're enjoying this lovely lightning storm and you're resting your hands on this nice mile-long fence. It's made out of metal. Lightning strikes it half mile down. All that energy is going to travel through the fence, into and through you. And that's conduction. This is why they tell you when a storm is passing over your house to not be near plumbing or play with any electronics connected to the grid. Because if lightning strikes your house, all that energy can move through all the conductive materials and into your body. In fact, there's a clip of a streamer who was playing during a lightning storm, live on Twitch. His house got struck, and he actually got shocked from it. My only question is, was he using a wireless keyboard and mouse? Streamers. This ties into a concept we discussed earlier where each object emits some kind of charge. And so let's say you're doing your due diligence and you're far away from a pine tree or any other lightning rod. That pine tree gets struck, except this time you get struck somehow. Well, you had some charge emitting from your body that was able to make some kind of connection. There's a really good story about this called Robert's Lightning Story if you want to look up what streamers really does. Anyway, so some lightning safety resources. National Weather Service and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And that's a mouthful. And as my buddy down from North says, lightning likes to strike the same place repeatedly. So please strike the like button, comment your lightning stories, and follow for more. Thank you and take care.